very first question would be, how did you get this idea? So usually we see that, organizations in this space are founded by teachers, and sometimes teachers have a brand of their own and they leverage on that, right?
Mm.
So how did this idea come about, and what perspective was that, which prompted you to start up with this?
Correct. So first of all, thanks a lot for having us here. The idea nurtured in our minds very young while we ourselves were in class 10th or 12th. What we felt was that though we have a lot of study material out there, a lot of books out there, but there was some kind of void that we felt because the preparation, which seemed very difficult, was not actually that difficult when it comes to the last month of preparation, let's say January, February. So that was the time when we realized that it's the year-long journey that we thought was that is going to be very difficult. Lots of books, lots of questions. It's not like that. It's just a few of the most important things that comes in exams generally, and the rest are just supplement to it. So we felt that there should be someone who is always available to tell the students. Like for example, while we were in school, so there were no channels as such on YouTube that provided information like that. So we used to consult our seniors and all. But it's very difficult to find good seniors who can consult us very nicely and very frankly. So we thought that let's fill this void. It was not very sure that we'll be filling this void by means of a YouTube channel or by means of a startup named Padhle or something like that. It was just that we have to fill the void somehow when we grow older. So while we were in college, so we thought that let's do it. And I and Atharva were on the same page. So Atharva came up with this idea. Atharva started his own channel and he started, uh, talking to students, strategizing their preparation for the entire year. And that's when, so I and Atharva are childhood friends, by the way. So that's when we get, our thoughts aligned and we thought that let's make it big. Let's try to channelize all the things that we had to do over the past years into a very good startup or into a very good medium. Startup was not something that we thought of, but yeah, a good channel or a good medium.
And how does the content, finalized, researched, and all? Because there are just two people and there are so many subjects, and what all goes behind, researching this content, simplifying it, and then deciding, okay, we can simplify it here, but we cannot simplify it there.
Mhm. So basically, we have a team of like around 7 to 8 people who work with us day and night into simplifying this content. So basically, our goal is to make sure that we don't want to become teachers who are just reading the textbook and giving out the content and teaching them. We want to make sure that the content that is available in the book is taught in a manner that is actually going to help them to retain whatever they are studying. So this was our main goal. This is how we started. So basically, when we talk about subjects, I look after science and maths, and for class 10, for grade 10, and Pranay looks after science, social, and maths for grade 9.
Do you also design lesson plans in a way that there's a talk about multiple learner personalities, and therefore there is this goal-based learning cycle that people follow. Some of the companies do that. If I remember it correctly, one of the companies based out of Gurgaon, Exceed Education, they do that lesson planning and all, saying that, okay, any type of those 5 different types of learners can actually enter into that learning process in the same lesson and actually retain it much better. So when we say we are trying to design lesson plans like that, are we putting out the content in a friendly manner only, or is there a psychological and a scientific basis also, like using the goal-based learning cycle and those kind of things?
Primarily, it's putting out the content in a friendly manner because honestly, there is a lot of content out there already, which is, and also nowadays everything is very simplified to the extent that it's very difficult to simplify it further. So it's all about how you present the ideas and how you present the topics in front of the students. So it's not like that. So while we teach, we make sure that everything that we speak is in a friendly manner for all the students, so that they don't feel like they are studying from a teacher. They primarily feel like they are studying from a friend of theirs or a senior or an elder brother. So that's the main psychology behind the lecture that we make.
We actually do not follow any lesson planning or that sort of thing in our YouTube videos or courses, because the problem is that we're teaching them online, right? So we always give them a goal that, by 15th of March, or let us say 15th of April, we have to finish this syllabus. This has to be the portion that we'll be covering. But the entire psychology is not behind that we have to do a goal-based learning. The point is that we have to make sure that whatever you are learning in this span of, let us say, 1 month or 1.5 months, you should be able to retain it till the end. So our main focus is not on goal-based learning. Our main focus is on making sure that the concept is understood. Once it is done, it is easier for the student to remember it till their exams.
That brings me to another question. So when we say, so unlike other edtech players or the K-12 learning space, uh, how are we differentiated as an organization? And are we more like a friendly mentor who helps during the revision part of it and the exam part of it towards the fag end? Or we actually are there year long, so you can come to my app, you can come to my channel, the multi-channel platform that we have created, and therefore a student can learn the concept and then maybe use that revision. Because I've gone through some of your videos, the question bank and all those things, pretty impressive and compilation. But then are we also teaching and then helping during the revision, or how is it? Because whatever I've gathered so far, it seems like yes, there's a friendly mentor, or my best friend in the class who's brightest also helping me out with those things, or a senior. So how is this?
Yeah. So yes, we do have year-long courses. We start our courses in when the session starts, and we end them when the exam ends. So basically, we have this entire year course where we are actually teaching them. We are actually teaching every subject out there. We make sure that once they are enrolling in our courses or once they're watching our videos, that particular concept or topic should be clear for them. So it is a year-long course that we run for both grades 9th and 10th, and they can study for the entire year from us.
When we say that it's not a goal-based learning and we have put out a content there, it's in a friendly manner. What it basically is the mission or the vision that you have in mind when you started off Padhle, and now you have codified it that okay, this is what our mission is.
The main line that we follow everywhere on social media platforms is not that
Mhm.
ordinary classroom vibe. So we quote it as
Right.
not that ordinary classroom vibe. So the vibe is all, the language that we use is entirely the language that the students of class 9th and 10th use, the slangs that we use, the memes that we use, the social media phonetics that we use. All of them are designed in the latest trends that they follow, usually through Instagram or Facebook or other social media platforms. Um, so the mission is obviously the main mission is that every student deserves to learn, and in a
Right.
very simplified manner. And supplementing to that, a very important mission that we here at Padle follow is taking care of the mental health of the students. So we do not pressurize students all that much about studies. All what we do is just make them feel relaxed about everything. So in a lot of our videos, we also mentioned that it's not all that necessary to to pressurize your mind with lots and lots of thoughts about exams because a lot of students have exam anxiety, stress related to that. So we make sure that we try to calm them up. We try to control their emotions as well. Uh, Keep making sure at the same time that they do not get distracted from their path of their preparation. So instead of telling them that these exams are the only thing that you can do in life, we also make sure to tell them that these exams are just a part of your life, but there is much more to come. But at least you should learn to how to hard work at this point of time.
Along with that, the thing that you asked, that what is our long-term mission? So first of all, what Pranay said is that we have to make sure that learning is simplified. If we talk about, you see, everything out there is now very simplified, right? When we talk about payments, when we talk about anything, when we talk about shopping, everything in this world is simplified right now. But when it comes to learning, you can still see that we are still using the rotten old same method of studying in classrooms also, and in coachings also. So we with Padle want to make sure that first of all, this particular thing is revolutionized in a certain manner that students are able to learn they basically fall. So they basically like learning. It is not something that actually stresses them out, or it is something that makes them bored. And second is to make education affordable. Our entire year courses are for like rupees 2,000. So even a student from a tier 2 or tier 3 city can enroll in our courses for the entire year. We don't charge heavy fees. So these are our two goals that we are mainly focused on.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question. What was the thought behind the name Padhle? Because usually each brand has its own genesis story. So I'm sure you must have some interesting anecdote behind deciding on the name.
So basically, when I and Pranay were discussing about what name should be given to this entity or something that we are creating for students, we did not want to come up with a very corporatish kind of word, that made students resonate with the brand. Okay, this is the brand, this is the coaching, it teaches us, and all that stuff. We wanted to make sure that the name is so unique, and the name is basically so relatable that every other student can talk to when we talk to our friends, like, did you study this, did you attend this class, he should share that, no, I just read Padle's notes, that is it, that is enough. So Padle was a word that we use every day in our life. In Hindi also, when we talk, our parents scold us ki beta pad le. Our friends say, pad le. So this word Padle is so much deeply rooted in our lives. So we wanted to make sure that we use this word and we come up with something big. So this was the entire story behind this. We came up with a lot of other names, but this was something that we could resonate with.
And between the two of you, who chanced upon this name first?
So we were discussing about a lot of names on WhatsApp.
Mhm.
I do not remember exactly who was the one who came up with this first. So basically, we went to and fro from different names. We were just discussing, so it came out of discussion. So I don't know exactly who. I don't remember
It
at least.
was something which you discovered in the due course of discussion. So it's not that
Yeah,
you did a laundry list and somebody said, okay, let's do with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
yeah.
Have you ever gotten any, not exactly criticism, but some feedback that, the kind of language, slangs, and memes, because we were just talking about that. So while a student can relate to it, but maybe from the parents or the teaching fraternity that, you are oversimplifying or trivializing the whole thing. Because there are certain people who are stickler to the formal code, and they say, no, while you can make a classroom friendly, but not friendly to this extent, right? So anything of that sort, or any positive feedback also, because that's a different question that I'll come to any which ways later.
Yeah, so as such, we have not received any criticism regarding the teaching methods that we have been using. We have received positive feedbacks from the parents. Like, we have received a lot of mails uh, that their student was not able to understand science. But in fact, even the parent watched our lectures, and he was very much happy that our student is learning science in such a manner that he is able to understand. So we have received positive feedback. Uh, as of now, we have not received any criticism regarding the teaching methods that we have. Because see, when I talk about we are using slangs, we do not use very slangs that are actually not appropriate. We use very normal slangs that we use in our daily life. So that is why it does not actually exceed the limitations. But yeah, we have not received any criticism as of now.
Okay, interesting. How has been the journey so far? So how did it all started? Would just want to know the journey.
So there have been a lots and ups and downs in the entire journey. First of all, we started with just one channel and one website domain, and we remember that we just started this entire setup with 2,000 rupees. When we contributed 1,000 rupees each, and then we came up with the website. We bought the domain hosting, and we started building it on our own. So for the first, I guess, 5-6 months, only the two of us were the part of this. So Athav used to write notes all by himself, the handwritten notes that we used to give students. So Athav used to write notes all by himself. I used to make website by myself, and then we collaborated. He sent me the notes, I uploaded them on the website, and all of this was going on. And then eventually, when things started getting better, we got 2 or 3 people on board initially who were our friends, and they helped us. They did not expect anything from us in return, but since they were good friends, so they started helping us out. Then eventually we started another channel for class 9th. And then the journey has been never stopping. So when we started one channel for 9th, we started one more dedicated channel for 10th. And then we opened channels for 11th and 12th as well. And then we started our own mobile application, and we started giving out the content on application as well. So we were not just limited to website. Now students can also access us on the mobile app. And later on, we kept introducing new things on our channels. And now we are one of the top channels for class 9th in the country, and 10th as well. So that makes us feel really good. And now we have a team of a very we have amazing talents throughout India. We have a team of around eight to nine people who are working with us full time. Most of them are very young college students as well, who are very exceptionally talented at their skills, let's say graphic designing, video editing, conceptualizing videos and everything. So that's what makes me feel and makes us feel very proud as founders as well, that we are finding very good talents from colleges, and students are able to express their skills in a very productive way through Padle.
We just missed out one part in this. When did the first paying customer signed up, and what was that feeling?
Basically, for last like from 2020 to 2022, we were running our platform completely free. Like the all the students can come up, they can watch our videos on our application on our website. They can watch it for completely free. In 2022, we launched our first paid course. So when we launched our first paid course, uh, that was the time when it was in, I guess, November or December in 2022. So at that time, a lot of students, basically a lot of students enrolled in the courses because they wanted to study from us in a live, in a recorded paid course, but we did not have it by that time. When we launched, it was a very good, a very big number. A lot of students enrolled in the courses, and yeah, it was a very pretty good feeling.
So customer acquisition was not a major challenge or something for you because you
No,
already
we
had
see.
the.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So customer acquisition was not a challenge for us because we have never ever thought it in direction that, we are a corporate company and we basically need to achieve these targets or we'll be in loss or that stuff. We've always made sure that once we start delivering good content to children, good content to students, the flow will automatically come because we never thought that we have to achieve this target, we have to sell these many courses to students. We always made sure that if we are good with our free content on YouTube, students will always be ready to pay us to study from our paid courses. That is why our strategy was to make sure that we try to spread our YouTube channel across the nation. Customers will follow.
So when we talk about app and all, and since we're talking about the slangs and memes and languages,
Hmm.
so each linguistic region will have its own nuances, its own kind of slangs, right? So is there a plan to make this platform multilingual, and what all languages right now you're offering content
Nothing has. So right now we deliver content mostly in English, and going multilingual is not yet finalized. So there is nothing that I can, come up
in?
with right now to answer this.
So where would be the user base majority of that from? Because what I understand that down south English, even though there is a major chunk of English in that, uh, if it's something which is given to them, or either it's pure English, that works better. So that's just something that we understand from our kind of thing. What has been your experience?
Most of our audience on YouTube as well as in our app is from North India. Is from North India, even Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, UP is a very major source of audience. Down south, there is audience who is well versed with Hindi, but definitely
Mhm.
North India, the northern parts of India who are dominantly Hindi speaking, are a major chunk of the audience that we have. And definitely, we feel that sometime in future we'll try something for the audience in the south, as you said, in multilingual languages, but nothing as of yet that we have finalized.
And what has been the feedback, or a student testimonial or a parent's testimonial that you cherish the most?
Yeah, so
Testimonial.
there's one of these stories that we were once talking to our students in our course, and we were talking to them on Zoom only. We had a Zoom session with them. So one of the students came up and told us that he was very weak in his studies in grade 9, and he had got an ultimatum from his parents that if you don't score good in class 10, you will basically have to leave school and you will have to look upon the family business. He was, I think he was on like 45 or 48 percentage in his class 9. But in class 10th, he scored around 89 to 90%, and that is how he could continue his studies. So that he basically shared that with us on this Zoom call only. So we were very much happy, and we felt very, very good that we could actually save someone's career. So this is something. This is a very good testimonial that we still remember.
Interesting. Because beyond numbers and everything, teaching is what you do for these kind of life-changing impacts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, while the agenda is to create a very friendly and, if I have to say, a safe kind of environment for people to ask their questions, learn. That's about the kind of experience you are trying to create, right? Now let's come back to a question as founders. How does the latest, controversies involving founders in different businesses or industries, involving founders affect you, right? And especially in the edtech space.
I understand. So the straightforward answer to this is no. We don't get affected by any brand's internal organizational structural changes. It's just that we are very focused on the content and the student experience that we are trying to create. And such ups and downs come in all the spaces. It's just that EdTech has been a trending platform after COVID. So we hear about EdTech more, but every industry has its own challenges. But talking about different brands, so they have their own strategies, they have their own preparations for all kinds of stuff. But for us, any other organizational changes from any other organization's point of view, nothing affects us as such. The only thing that affects us is how our students are responding to our content. So we don't see edtech industry primarily for launching something or changing something or improving ourselves. Our primary source of feedback or learning or adopting any changes is students' perspective, because ultimately it's the students that are making us. So we keep that as a priority, and any other organization, whatever happens, it does not affect us at all. We are very, very clear at this organization in Padle. The entire team is very clear that our objective is our students first. That's what we follow. So those students who watch us now, we have to give them the best that we can, and making sure that we create more space for even more students who can gain more knowledge through our platforms.
So how are we going to create more spaces, and how are we going to grow as an organization? So what is going to be the roadmap?
There's so this very simple idea is growing our YouTube channels. That's as simple as that. The more students are there on YouTube with us, the more engaging platform that we can create. There is a more engaging ecosystem that we can create through our website, app. So we can join students everywhere, but the major uh, objective that we have is that we have to keep our YouTube channels always intact.
And also, keep on adding the innovations to your app, the
Exactly.
offerings and all. So
That's
how do you
something.
capture this feedback, or, if I have to say, a CSAT score, that okay, this is what now our students require?
Basically have three people who are dedicatedly working for this. We have two sources from where the students can share their feedback. One is the help chat section in the application. Second is our email. So we have mentioned it very clearly that any issue, any problem that you have, you can mail us on this particular email ID, or you can write to us in the chat section. So in the entire day, we have this slot of like 2 to 3 hours where the team checks all the feedbacks and messages that can help us improve. We bifurcate it. We have 2 weekly meetings in which we can basically improve this, and then we apply it to our apply it to our lectures. If there is something that is missing in lectures, if students want, and if there are a lot of queries regarding this, we try to improve it from the next time.
And like you also mentioned, you were having a Zoom meeting with the students. So do you have those kind of forums also where you interact directly with the students?
So we basically, so the students who are enrolled in our paid courses, we had this feature for them, like weekly or once in a month, we can connect on Zoom calls, and you can share your progress, like what is going on, what are the problems that you're facing academically. So we do not have a specific forum, but in the application also we get this feature that we can post a Zoom link there, and the students can join that Zoom link who are a part of our paid courses.
Now we are teaching, we have provided the content. Now the learning has a second pillar, which is you track, right? The performance, the results, and then you find the gap and you fill that up. So how do we do that as an organization? So while I'm uploading the content across, how am I tracking the performance of the students and therefore doing a counseling bit or talking to them and saying, okay, this is a gap which you need to fill up. So is there a personalization possible, or is it there in the plan or not?
So
We are working.
we are working
Uh,
on this. We have started with our test series. We have started with our tests. So basically, we have weekly tests in which they attempt the tests and they get this scores, like how many questions they have attempted, what is the correct percentage, what questions they have done wrong, what is their rank, which question took how many seconds. So we have this. We have started with our test series, but we have this in plan that we'll move it to learning also, like how what is the time that the student has watched the lecture, and uh, like what is his progress, has he finished the course or not. So we are trying to build that up.
So how does the future look like? What all things you are going to add? Any plans, anything right now? Organizations which do not believe in the business number metrics, but the learning outcome metrics, they also need to somewhere look for the resources to come in, funding to come in. So any plans, anything for that also?
Nothing as such that we have finalized so far, but we are coming up with new plans for the next session. And this is the time when the session transition takes place. So there are some things that we'll finalize in the coming 2 months. And once we have that on board, we'll definitely update.
And is future looks like a mix, omni-channel kind of a thing here? Yeah, it's going to be a digital and YouTube and all these platforms alone.
The near
So are
future
you
is
going to
what
have
we
your
are
own
planning.
classrooms also, or maybe some kind of collaboration with uh, local players and saying, okay, we have the content, you have the classroom, we have the students.
Nothing in the near future. The near future is all digital. But as we feel innovations are coming in teaching methods, and there is a better way that we can integrate a lot of things. We'll definitely come up with something in the later years. But for now, it's digital.
Okay. So what keeps Atharva and Pranay going, and what motivates you to, keep on, getting up every day, dealing with the challenges, and then next day again coming up and saying, okay, we are now going to take the next step. So what really motivates you guys?
So basically, everything that we're doing is online. So we are in this online world where feedbacks matter the most to us. So apart from that, we get a lot of comments from our students that someone from this tier 3 or tier 2 city is learning from us, learning free from us. He was bad at his studies, but now he's good. He cannot afford the fees of a coaching, so he learns from us. So all these comments, all these messages that we get through YouTube comments, through mails, through Instagram, they keep us, going every day, because we know that there are students waiting for our videos. We know that there are students. There is a responsibility. So this responsibility keeps us going. And responsibility is, I guess, the biggest motivator. So it always whenever we wake up, it is so there might be days where we feel low, that there is a lot to do, there is a lot of stuff to do, there might be some issues with the application or with the website, but at the end we know that it is the students for whom we are doing it, so we have to do it. It is our responsibility, and we have to do it because they want to learn from us, they want to study from us.
So I understand that there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of responsibility, sense of responsibility which keeps you going. But operationally, so since you two are there would be days when you are overwhelmed with a lot of things. So who does what and how is it split? The rules are defined, and also given the
Academically,
fact that you are childhood friends, right? So I'm sure you must be having a pretty
Yeah.
fleshed out
Yeah.
collaboration style.
academically, the major division is between the standards. So Atharv has a lot of knowledge about class 10th, uh, and I have a lot of knowledge about matlab, we have learned a lot through the years for class 9th. So it's a mix, but class 9th has been my forte, class 10th has been Atharv's forte. Apart from that, organizationally, there are a lot of things that we mix. So we have not. I would not say that we have yet found a very A to B, or let's say we have a MO as such. It's just that things come up their way, and then we try to uh, sort it out. But there are fixed responsibilities for all the other team members. So we as founders have classes that we have separated between us, but the lots of responsibilities that are there organizationally that are split between the team.
Okay. So, because that's precisely was my question, that you are going to step into the classroom and to record a video, and then all of a sudden something else comes up, and that also requires a lot of firefighting. So then what happens?
During while the time I am recording a class, I just focus on the class or the video, and the rest for that amount of time. Let's say my shooting time is 1 hour, or let's say 2 hours. So for those 2 hours, Athav is the one who is taking charge of all the things in the brand, in the company, in the organization, and that goes vice versa.
And any plans to grow the teachers team size so that you have subject matter experts for all of them, and then this
Definitely, in
become
the next session, we are adding a few more talents to our team who are well versed with the subjects, who can help us making the content even more, you know, even more simplified and finished.
and since there is a lot of young energy around, and it's a young organization led by two young people, but because education is a serious business, as they say, right? So is there a plan, or do you have team members who come with some years of typical school or formal academic background, contributing to the content and everything as subject matter experts, as somebody who knows NEP, who knows the curriculum, who knows the syllabus, and therefore keeps you on the track?
For now, what we do is when we create the content and we finalize, let's say a booklet or something, or let's say a question list. So we get it reviewed from 2 or 3 different teachers who are very well experienced and have, let's say, 10 plus years or 15 plus years of experience, because they have seen the board pattern year on year.
Right.
So just make sure that it is, though it is simplified from our team members, but at the same time, it also has that academic value that can help students get more marks in exams.
How does it work when, let's say, there is a new topic which has been introduced? Like, I was talking to some people someday, and they said, no, uh, one of the boards in the art syllabus, they have added a business organization studies kind of thing also as one of the subjects a couple of days back. So who keeps a track of all these addition deletions? Because one, I understand the question banks are there and you look at that, but what topic or what split or what reorganization of the course curriculum syllabus has happened board by board? uh, how do you track that, and how do you incorporate, and how soon do you?
So basically, we are whenever this notification comes up from CBSE,
Mhm.
we keep a track that if there is a change, like last year also there was a change in syllabus, so they had removed a lot of topics. So once this happens, anyone from our team member notifies us on the group that this has happened. Then we send the content that we've already made for review, and we ask the experts to either remove it, or if something has been added, so look upon for new questions or new things that can be added according to this new topic, and we get them added. Talking about the speed, it takes like around 1 to 2 weeks, because a lot of time it has happened that whenever a notification comes up from, let us say, any of the boards, there might be some more changes that might happen in the future. That is why we make sure that we do all the changes all together. So we are pretty quick with that, because students, they instantly demand for the renewed syllabus and renewed content, fresh content.
And right now the content that we offer is only for CBSE, or it's like board agnostic?
So students who have NCRT in their curriculum, they can
Mhm.
use our content, because uh, there are a lot of things that we have made according to CBSE only, that these are the question banks and previous year
Okay.
questions. But talking about notes and other things that we have,
that are related to a chapter. Any student who uses NCRT can use it.
One is, of course, as a teacher, you can engage, you can talk about those things, but is there a dedicated effort as an organization that, okay, since we are in this teaching business, let's also create something like that for our enrolled students? So is there a formalized, institutionalized process for that? Because see, there are times when you're teaching and 50 students are logged, right? And I'm listening to it, and in between, if you're telling me something that you don't stress out, is okay. But as a student, I feel overwhelmed and I don't want to ask it then and there in that forum. So is there a formalized process or something that, okay, since you are enrolled in the course, any which way you are my student, so you can also avail this service? So is there a counselor? Is there somebody you can talk to? Is there a place where you can write out a query for your stress related and psychological issues? Because initially we talked about that we are also looking at ensuring that the mental health is not compromised because of the exam stress.
So as of now, we are dealing it more on the combined section, the mail and the help chat section that is there on the app. But we are incorporating something so that in the coming session we can, make students, let's say, a different chat section or a different portal wherein they can share the things that they have to share, but nothing as of yet.
One last question. So how does so when you started off this thing and you said this what we are going to do, where was the family support which came in, and initially what was their reaction and now what is their reaction?
So we are very thankful that our families did not stop us from doing anything as such, and particularly this thing, because they knew the motive behind it was very pure and very intended towards the students. So there was no such obligation from our parents, but they're just very straightforward that do whatever you want to, but that should not compromise with your academics and your learnings and everything. So yeah, initially there was no as such um, any as such compulsion that they're stopping us. They supported us because the motive was very clear.
Okay. And was there never something like why not have a more serious career choice? Because YouTuber now off late in the last post-COVID scenario, if you're a YouTuber, okay, it's still considered to be something serious. I've seen people behaving differently now when you tell them you are a YouTuber. But initially it was okay, you are making some videos.
Correct.
Right. So what did you ever encounter that kind of a thing? So while I understand that not compromising on your cats is okay, but was it like, okay, this is like a hobby, but where is your serious career plan? Did that ever happen or not? Just asking typical, because we all come from that kind of background. So you have those kind of expectations and pressures.
Yeah, that happened initially, but it was not a very, very heated conversation between us and our parents that, you'll have to stop this. You're making videos, just making videos, and there has to be something more serious that you do in life. Because we had projected when we started this, we have projected this in front of them that, we are not only doing YouTube. This is what we want to do with this. So they actually liked that we had a very big motive behind this. It was not just like making, because the day we started, we had this in mind that this is something that we have to do. It is not only limited to making videos, but to actually do what we are doing right now, doing today. So we had this in our mind from that time only. So when I started with my first video, I had made this very clear that it is not only about making videos, it is about doing something like this. So that is why this never came up.
So we can say that you made a very successful pitch in the very first video itself to the friends and family, right? Because that's again a pitch. You got the approvals and
Correct.
so perfect. It was great talking to you and figuring out a very different kind of an edtech organization operating in the same space where there is a lot of negativity, which is also putting cloud over the overall space as such, and also a very fresh offering which kind of brings in takes care of the mental health also and ensures that there's a relaxed learning environment. So I definitely see that we can say that normally you talk about it in other contexts, but here your platform or the Padhle as such is providing that safe and relaxed environment for these students to ask any queries, learn at their own pace possibly, and with better learning outcomes. So all the best to your team, and it was really nice talking to you. And maybe
Likewise.
we'll again connect some other point of time once you have achieved few other milestones, maybe some.
Definitely. Likewise. Thank you so much for that.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Yeah.